Hey guys, how y'all doing? Just checking in here for another water cooler. Been a crazy week, and yeah, we have a lot to kind of go over here today. So I'm going to jump right into it. We have a bunch of questions from the community this week, which is awesome. Super excited to touch on those. I do want to talk about a couple of things that came out in the last week or so for us as a company. Talking about the light paper, um, and I kind of want to take a minute to talk a little bit about UST peg back value, how we're doing as a company, the market and all this craziness is a good topic for now. So let me go ahead and just dive right in. So first off, on what's coming out here, I think I'll start. So we have officially launched referendums on multiple different blockchains. It is now available out there to be used, and we have our first multi-chain referendum live now, which is on the Harmony blockchain. So this is using the current DAO referendum structure that we have around UNIFI. You can go there and vote to approve or disapprove the proposal that's there. This is a core referendum. And essentially what this core referendum is based around is how we operate our node there. Should we have more keys, less keys? Should we use an automated bidding system to better reward people that stake to our node? For those of you that have been around for a long time, you kind of know, our node operation services, they're really just there as a community benefit, and they're there for the people that really want to participate with us, but maybe not directly. And yeah, we're super excited to see some participation there. Light paper came out on up V2, so there was uh, a lot there, a lot to digest. A lot of questions came out of that. I do want to just put out there, this is really a light paper. This is really the most light version, like a quick synopsis of what is coming. It is not complete. It is not comprehensive. There's a lot of things that are not addressed there, as you guys point out with some of your questions, that I'm going to actually dive into here right now. But so you're all aware, these things can change. They can evolve. But generally speaking, this is a good vision of what's coming in regards to up. So super excited to see that. So with that being said, I think I'm going to actually dive right into questions here first, and then we can kind of wrap up with UST and things like that. So just kind of starting off here, the first question that I had that we received from the community was basically, is there more of a security risk with up version 2? Since there's been a lot of hacks lately. And yeah, so I think that this is a good point, as has been pointed out. Anytime you have a managed fund system, as we're going to talk about here in a bit, that does make some potential risk. So that risk is, of course, present here as well. It's a great point. How we mitigate that risk is going to be by utilizing the DAO further. So the DAO is going to have to actually step up and take on a more direct approach. It's going to have to more directly help assist in those funds being staked and unstaked. So there is going to be a much more active role here of the DAO besides just referendums. That's a key part of this, and that's how we intend to mitigate that. So I'm super excited to seeing that come out, and it's something that we've been operating here now since last year, and I'm very excited to kind of see how that continues to evolve. So the next one, how will the up reward structure work for chains where use stake currently is not live? Yeah, so that's actually very cool. At this time, I think a good vanilla way of looking at this is use stake could plug in perfectly with up. That's great. You can stake to it, take the rewards, put it into up. But that's just one concept of how this staking could work. There are other ways staking could work. We could be staking to liquidity pools. We could be staking these to trusted liquidity pools such as UTrade. These could be staked to perhaps someday trusted lending platforms such as Aave, should they meet certain qualifications that our DAO will obviously instill. So yeah, there's tons of options that are out there, and I think each blockchain is going to have a unique way to approach that. And just like we're doing these multi-chain referendums now, that's going to be extremely crucial in how we determine what actions are taken going forward. So for those of you that are looking to participate, that participation is going to weigh in a lot more as we transition from simple referendums into actual approving transactions publicly. So very excited to see how that kind of evolves here in the future and how individual chains determine what they consider high, low risk, and et cetera, and how they decide to participate in terms of staking. Uh, Getting into kind of the next piece, then the next question here, up migration, splintering of supply, people forgetting to do it or missing out on the news and things like that. There's not going to be that kind of risk here. It's going to be a one-to-one swap, up V1 to up V2. It could happen at any time. There's not going to be an expiry date. This is going to be something where you can just interact directly with the contract when you want to. You're going to be incentivized to, obviously, because of how future things will plug into it. But there is no direct loss here. You can still always redeem your token for the up V2 whenever you decide to do so. So going on, how does up V2 differ from other DeFi protocols? What sets it apart? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a bigger, longer question. I think I would rather dedicate some time specifically to this. There's a lot that up V2 does, not just in terms of DeFi, but in terms of the entire ecosystem that we're offering, in terms of how UNFI token works, some future developments that we have coming up that I'm very excited about. So yeah, there is probably more to say there, but I'd say too much for this conversation. Can we explain how the immediate 5% loss of up is going to be worth it? This is talking about the direct mint. So basically, if you choose to directly mint up, there's a 5% cost in doing so. The 5% cost goes into redeem value. We're not taking a share or nothing like that. It just goes into the value of up. So who's going to do that? That's a good question. This feature came out of some maybe larger organizations and entities that we've participated with, some of which have expressed interest in doing this. So though this may not make sense for an individual that's kind of looking for maybe a short-term quick gain of less than 5%, for those that are looking to be long-term partners or potentially see some advantages that can be done by acquiring a large amount of up suddenly, that's really what that feature is there for. So it's for, it may not be for everyone, and I would say it's definitely a more sophisticated participant within the ecosystem. It's really a tool for that. I could see fancy and elaborate arbitrage opportunities, special cross-chain interactions, like all kinds of stuff could come of this. That's like just that's like for like the high-end trading people. So going on from there, is the backed value going to be visible for the community to see? Of course, this is like, we're going to wear this right on our sleeve. This is a big part of why we're doing this. So that's going to be extremely visible through Unifi report and elsewhere. So that'll be great. How will liquidity be provided to the up pools? Actually, this is super exciting. I can't talk about this right now because we actually have a proprietary solution. It's part of why we felt comfortable announcing this now, is we do have a really cool solution here for it. And it's probably one of the more unique features of what we have here. And I think I'm going to wait until we get closer to launch to really talk about that specifically. Yeah, that kind of takes us through most of the questions here. I skipped 2 or 3 I skipped a few of these here, guys, just so you know, because they do touch on things that we may not be ready to talk about just yet, or maybe future states of the company and things like that. So, as I said, I think it's a good time to take a look at UST, how we're doing as a company, what the craziness of the market means to us, and things like that. So, I've been coming on here. I've been trying to come on here every week if I'm out of the office, which I am currently now. If I'm in the office, no matter what, I'm trying to be here every week and talk about this. And for those of you that have tuned in from the beginning, we are not reliant on market conditions to operate. We as a company, we were founded in 2018, pretty much the worst of it, entirely bootstrapped, a lot of volunteer team. Most of that volunteer team here is now full-time in this team. We're a close-knit group of friends. We've been working together for a long time, and that's what we intend to do. So as we started to pick up steam, find some momentum in the cryptocurrency economy, we decided to invest in ourselves, make sure that we set aside adequate resources to be successful through to the future that we see this blockchain or the blockchain technology sector growing to. So we're probably 5 years away from that, and we have the steam to kind of see through that. So getting into UST, I think that that's actually really exciting, or very interesting to kind of look at. For those of you that don't know, UST has kind of lost its peg, and I think that it's a great example of what can happen here. UST is backed, to some extent by the Luna token economy, but to some extent by BTC. Their Citadel kind of manages how that's all operating. But I think that the real issue here is it's very difficult to maintain a peg when it's not one-to-one with something. So that's kind of where we'll be differentiating. We're going to be going into this up V2. Redeem may not be open. That doesn't mean it can't be opened again. These are going to be actually backed tokens. We're actually building a system around that problem specifically. And I am super excited to see our solution come in and be successful there. Because as the UST is showing right now, this is a challenge, and it causes a lot of challenges with people trying to build in crypto. And just kind of extending off of that, for those of you that may follow me on Twitter, you've seen some of my conversations around businesses in crypto, and basically how important it is to build a sustainable economy for a business to actually operate. I think adoption is a big term that we throw out there today, and I think that a lot of that term is driven around, oh, good tokenomics are going to drive this like adoption. But at the end of the day, it's really businesses that are going to drive adoption. People that come in and go, hey, I want to sell my house on the blockchain. It's like, okay, cool. Here's a smart contract that costs $50 to operate. Well, that's great today. But what if that token 100x's? It's now going to be what? Many times. It's now going to be many times more to operate the same smart contract. I don't think that structures a system where businesses can operate sustainably, and I think a lot of people have fallen into this trap of focusing on these, complex, deterministic tokenomics, and that's really where a lot of people have struggled to find traction. I think I think UST is a perfect example of maybe people not acting in what was programmed to be the collective best interest, and as a result, we're seeing some depegging here happening. So I'm super excited to see our products come out. I'm super excited to talk more about kind of where we're going in this field and how we intend to operate more as a leader in this space. And yeah, guys, I guess I'll leave it there, and I look forward to chatting with you all next week. All right, see you guys.